So I'm making this video because I have seen that there has been a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation about possibly Black Myth Wukong not appearing as an option in the Game of the Year awards. There has been other publications that haven't included Black Myth Wukong as an option to win their Game of the Year award. I think a lot of this is true. In fact, I believe this is true. I believe there is an intentional sabotage about this situation. But in my opinion, Black Myth Wukong does not deserve Game of the Year award anyways. I think these game journalists, these game media, these publications, all of this need to be held accountable for doing this sabotage. This is what I believe, but I also believe that Black Myth Wukong does not deserve Game of the Year, and I'm going to explain why. I made a review about it, and then I made 2 follow-ups explaining and refuting all of the fanatics that got offended about the facts I was spitting in my review. I have detected that the only reason, and probably the main reason, I'm not going to say the only one, but it's the main reason people are defending this game. It is because it is not woke. This is the main reason people are defending this game. Because if we go to the facts about the game is at best average. In my opinion, Game of the Year should be awarded to games that are outstanding, and at the very least, the best Game of the Year. Because some years there are not very good games releasing. So, like the year that The Last of Us 2 won, that shit was a very disappointing award, and to be honest, that game didn't even deserve it either. But I think that year was pretty dry in terms of very good games, so that happened. So I believe Game of the Year should be given to outstanding video games, or at the very least the best Game of the Year, and I don't think the best Game of the Year is Black Myth Wukong so far. I don't think so. This is not about the game being woke or not woke. I certainly are thankful that the game is not woke, but the reality is that it is a Chinese game. They don't do the woke shit. They don't go with that programming. So this is not the win that the gamer chots, quote-unquote chots, think it is. And I am against woke garbage in my games. I am against political agendas in my video games, especially leftist agendas, degenerate agendas in my games. I don't want that shit. But I am an honest person, and I have been trying to be honest my whole life. So I cannot pretend that Black Myth Wukong is Game of the Year just because it so happens that it aligns with my political agendas. How would I be different from the game journalists, the game activists that pretend that bad games are good games just because they are woke? How are we going to be different if we behave the same way? You can do that shit if you want, you are fucking NPCs, but don't demand me to do the same. I am going to behave as an individual, so my opinion is not going to be shaped just because the majority of people think that way. Objective truth, facts, etc. are not a democracy. So there is people like Asmongold that say that Wukong is a 9 out of 10 game.
I really think that Wukong is a great game. I do. I think it's a really, really great game. I think it is a solid fucking 9 out of 10 game. Like, I would even say almost 9.5.
And he says that Elden Ring is a 10 out of 10 game. So this means that for him, Wukong is almost as good as Elden Ring, because each other are only 1 point apart. That's just fucking insane. That is fucking blind fanaticism. That speaks volumes about a clear bias, a huge bias. You cannot say with a straight face that Wukong is almost as good as Elden Ring. You cannot say that. That's fucking stupid. And I personally gave Elden Ring at 8 out of 10. I have my reasons for it, I have my review. If you're interested in knowing why I gave Elden Ring an 8 out of 10, I recommend you to go and watch my review. It's on Rumble and it's on Odyssey. I am not going to enter into that, so I'm going to say that yes, Elden Ring is a 10 out of 10 game, just for the sake of the argument. So let's go and analyze what are the issues with Wukong. The gameplay is simplistic, repetitive, typical Simon Says dodge simulator, just like Elden Ring. so they are not very different in this matter. There are no builds whatsoever in Wukong, everything plays the same. You do light attacks to build spheres into heavy attacks, and every build does exactly the same. And this is the problem with this game, there is no variety. These quote-unquote builds are just fake, contrary to Elden Ring that actually has many different builds. In fact, Elden Ring is huge on build variety, so they are not even remotely the same. It is not an actual RPG. Wukong is an action game with RPG elements. The stats don't even matter or barely matter, and I made a bunch of tests in my review to show this. HP, for example, is the worst offender because the more HP you have, the enemies end up doing more damage to you. That's fucking stupid. That means getting more HP actually hurts you. There is no loot, you only craft gear and armor with the lamest stats on them that ultimately don't matter or don't matter that much because, like I explained in the previous point, stats either affect little or even work against you. The focus of the game is to be difficult for streamers and content creators. This is the main reason content creators defend the game, because it was crafted for spectacle first and not to be a fun game. It's a frustration simulator that it is made so people react to their favorite clowns being frustrated or killed over and over again. The level design is simplistic, pointless even, because it serves almost no purpose to be there, filled with invisible walls, and the reason they didn't put a map is because they know that will break the illusion of big maps when in reality they are short, uninspired, simplistic and even pointless padding that just creates space between the bosses. It's plagued by performance issues, it has bad frame rates, input lag, etc.
I'm definitely getting input lag. Like, I'm getting crazy input lag. This is awful. Like, I just keep getting fucking locked.
It has horrible hit registration and hitboxes. I will show you how fucking garbage are the hitboxes in the game, just so you can keep defending this game. Some people say this is even Game of the Year material. You're either retarded normies, malicious cons, or outright CCP members because no one with a sane and honest mind thinks this. The combat is an oxymoron, constantly roots you in place. When you finish a combo, you're constantly being rooted in place, and then the game demands you to keep moving and dodging. It's just counterintuitive. You talk about bad long combos that lock you into place. They don't. One of the earliest skill unlocks in the game lets you dodge while keeping the combo going. You can even cast magic while keeping the combo going. I am going to show you with evidence how this is a lie and how he doesn't even understand how this perk works. These people are trying to pass this perk as if this perk let you dodge cancel from being rooted while doing combos. It doesn't do that. The perk is called Composure, and the description says dodging no longer interrupts light attack combo. This also applies to perfect dodges. Anyone with an average IQ already understands what this does, but I'm going to show you the evidence. I even have a software that lets me display the key presses I am doing, so you see what buttons I am pressing and how I am 100% rooted in some parts of the combos, and you will notice it because the tons of times I will be pressing the spacebar to try to dodge without success. So in this test I am going to be doing strings of light attacks and then going to roll out of the strings. You will see that I can cancel dodge most of them except the last part of the light attack string and the heavy attacks. Those two root you into place. Now I will put the perk and test the same thing. As you can see, what happens with the perk is that the moment you roll and you attack again, you will continue your combo, so what doesn't get interrupted is the combo, but this perk doesn't allow you to cancel dodge the parts of the combo that root you into place. That's the whole problem, that's my whole argument, you idiots or malicious cunts. And in fact, this perk fucks you even harder because now you can prevent to use the last part of the light combo to trigger. Now it will happen because after you roll, your character will continue where he left, and this will 100% make sure you are rooted in place constantly without a way to prevent it. Super fast grab attacks with bad hitboxes. It has even scripted damage. This game had the audacity to implement another fucking shit. This game has forced sequences in which you are going to be damaged no matter what. I was in this boss, the boss of the ending of chapter 3. The last form of this boss will have two instances in which he will grab you and you will be unable to dodge it. You can't dodge that shit. He will 100% grab you and do a shit ton of damage to you, and you cannot in any way, shape or form prevent it. It's fucking retarded, dude. It's all about making the games difficult. I am just fucking sick and tired of this shit.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer. This is so much cancer that I can feel the tumors growing on my back. And it's way down heavy on me, and it's not okay. Can you help it out and just stop this? Please?
So this is all the issues with that game. How can this game be game of the year? It just can't be. It's an average game, a 5 out of 10, and at best a 6. And I am being very generous with the fucking 6 because I personally gave it a 4.5 out of 10. So the people have said that the fact that Black Myth Wukong is not appearing or possibly won't appear as a game of the year because this is a fucking rumor, nothing is confirmed, and I honestly doubt it. I think you are being manipulated because the game will appear in the Game Awards, and I think they are doing this campaign because they want to make people angry. They want to make people angry, they want to make people vote for the game to spite the game journalists, to spite the woke activists. And they are not going to vote because the game is actually good. I am not saying you can't like the game. Obviously you can like whatever the fuck you want. But if we are going to be objective, the game is average. And it's fine to like average games. I like a bunch of average games. That doesn't mean these average games suddenly are the best games or are Game of the Year material. They aren't. So this is a conspiracy. There is a conspiracy in many ways. These days, people are being manipulated in a shit ton of ways. And it is very frustrating to see all of this and people are just fucking NPCs. They just don't see it. It's very frustrating to notice all of this and people don't listen to you. People don't pay you attention. You're warning them, but they don't give a fuck. So the conspiracy is to make people fight each other in two different groups to completely disregard objective reality and only care about extreme biases. This only helps people that want to manipulate you and control you. It's obvious that the gaming media didn't like Wukong for not being woke, but defending the game for the same reasons makes you as dishonest. It's exactly the same, but on the opposite spectrum. The game objectively isn't Game of the Year material. It just isn't, and I already made my argument with my review, my 2 follow-ups, and this video. If Game of the Year just means popularity, then go ahead, give the award to this game. But then let's clarify that Game of the Year is just a popularity contest and doesn't mean actual game quality or an actual good game. If you say it's both, then why is nobody really considering the lackluster gameplay of Wukong? Game of the Year award should be quality alone in my opinion, because an actual good game is warranted to be popular anyway, but you can have both if you want, popularity and quality. If you want, you can have both, but it just so happens that Wukong is popular, but it lacks quality and something remarkable in terms of gameplay to deserve the title. And let's be honest, Black Myth Wukong is not remarkable. The best thing I can say about the game is that the art design is really good, the music is decent, some tracks are really good too, but that's about it. I think the sound effects are good too, but like I said, the game is very average in every other way. There is nothing remarkable about the game. People get really pissed when I say Black Myth Wukong is just another Souls-like game. They don't like me calling the game a Souls-like game, when in fact it is a Souls-like game, but it's just a very bad one, very mediocre Souls-like game. And in fact, the RPG elements are so fucking bad, just so barren, that barely qualifies as a Souls-like or as an action RPG. I don't think the game is even an action RPG, to be honest. Like, it's just fucking god-awful. The builds are mediocre, the gearing is mediocre, the stats are mediocre, barely matter. Now, Elden Ring has a bit of issue too with the stats that barely matter, but I don't think it's on the same level as this game. This game is even fucking worse. And again, how can this game be compared to Elden Ring as if they are both almost equal? I mean, it's fucking stupid. To be honest, I am thinking that this conspiracy goes deeper than we may be thinking. The narratives about this game, the positive attitude towards this game, could be a psyop from China, to be honest. Like the typical passive taking control of other countries' culture. How? By destroying first their own respect for their own culture. If you ever saw the video of that Russian guy, I don't remember his name, that explained how the demoralization process works and how communism is spread, you will kind of understand what I am thinking. I just can't believe this narrative is being pushed this hard, when in fact Wukong is just a mediocre Souls-like game. I can't explain it. I have my suspicion about it, why this is happening, but people, for example, like to argue about the game not being a Souls-like game because that way they just think every criticism is invalid, because since the game is not a Souls-like game, then all the criticism doesn't land and the game is basically immune because it's not a Souls-like game. That's why I stopped talking about it about a Souls-like game, because I'm treated it like an action game. That way people can do that fucking fallacy, that fucking bullshit. So in reality, this game is not Game of the Year material. Do I think this game is going to win? I think it will win. I think it will win because like I said, there is an agenda here. There is a narrative manipulation about this game. They want to make people enraged about this game. They want them to vote because they are spiteful towards the game journalists. It's fucking insane and frustrating to be able to see how they are hurting these fucking NPCs and they don't even see it. It's mind-blowing. Seriously, it's mind-blowing to see how they hurt people, not people, NPCs, how they do it to get their way. Anyway, I am working in my Dragon Age the Veilguard review. I said I was going to review Metaphor. I am going to review Metaphor, but not yet. I am going to do the Veilguard first. And the reason why is because that game needs to be reviewed. That game needs it, and a lot of people know that Metaphor is a good game already. Doesn't really require that urgency. And I think, in my opinion, Metaphor should be maybe the actual winner of Game of the Year. In my opinion. Why? Because even though it's not super remarkable, it's honestly kind of like the best game we have seen this year so far. I haven't been able to play Romancing Saga 2 because that game for me is probably going to be my game of the year, but it's a niche game, so I don't expect people to nominate that fucking game. It's fucking niche. So I think Metaphor is a good candidate to win Game of the Year. I think it's about time some JRPG wins Game of the Year, other than Elden Ring of course, but I mean JRPGs that look very anime style. I think it's about time one of those games wins Game of the Year. I think it will be a very good pick for Game of the Year. But like I said, I think it's going to be Wukong. I mean, if it's on the activists and the journals alone, it won't win. But if the popular vote matters, it will win. And nobody cares about the fucking actual gameplay of the game, which is fucking average at best. But anyway, I'm not going to go in circles with this anymore. So expect my Dragon Age Veilguard review. I am working on it and it's going to be huge. There is a lot to say about that game, a lot. So with that being said, that will be all for this video. And remember, stop watching these videos on fucking YouTube. Go and watch on Odyssey or Rumble, because this platform is a piece of shit. And I am glad President Trump is going to address or revise Section 230 that gives these fucking platforms some privileges when they are actual platforms. Right now they are fucking publications, fuck them. So I am glad we are probably going to see some change in these fucking companies. Fuck YouTube, seriously, fuck YouTube. Stop using YouTube. Go to alternative media. What the fuck are you doing? You cannot complain about Google being a piece of shit and still using their services. You fucking morons. The only reason I keep publishing my videos here is because you fucking imbeciles can't just fucking go and watch alternative media. It's fucking insane. You're fucking retarded.